Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More Jan channel. How you doing today? Normally, I would say 99% of the time, my shows are recorded precisely 1 week ahead of the time you listen to it. So in real time today, for me, in real time, recording this, it is actually the 1st of June. I like beginnings, new beginnings, okay? 1st of June, but you're not going to hear this till 1 week from today, okay? All right. And there's a really good reason why I do this. One of the reasons why I do this is so that you know that my stuff is recorded ahead of time. So nobody could say, "Oh, where'd you get that idea from?" Sorry, Charlie. I got the idea from myself a week ahead of time. I'm just saying. That's just one reason. But the other reason is because I like an organized work week for myself. Let's talk about making a return to frugal and common sense choices. We live in a world of choices. We can make idiotic choices, or we can make semi idiotic choices, or we can make good and frugal and wise 99% of the time common sense choices. Caving into every single time a parent listens to the little one whine, cry, and scream. I get it. The sound could be deafening, it could be annoying. Your mind is on anything else but that sound. I get it. This is real life. I'm just saying the truth. And what a lot of parents do to just shush down the sounds, they cave into everything, which has really not a good effect in the future because right away, the little ones learn that if I whine, cry, and scream long enough, I'm going to get my way. And the sad part is that they are never going to learn how to handle disappointment, how to handle that one day in their life they're going to hear the word, nope, doesn't work that way. And I really believe in my heart of hearts, as a grandparent, as a parent for many, many years, the best favors that you could present is honesty to your children in that manner. Sometimes things are a go, sometimes things are not a go. This is real life. And especially for people who have it, like, really on the toughest side financially. One thing that a lot of little ones learn at a young age in that kind of environment is that you're going to hear the word no every now and then. It's not a disservice. You're doing a great thing teaching real life that in real life we have to handle the word no. But let's talk about some common sense choices. I have seen a whole bunch of reaction style videos where someone is reacting to a video. Perhaps it was obtained from another platform, but that person, let's say, or persons, they have a YouTube channel and they are reacting to videos that they are watching, perhaps from another platform. And I am shocked and beside myself as to the climate of some of the stuff that I hear from the people, not the reaction person. They're watching, they're reacting to what they see, but the originator of the content, let's say perhaps from that other platform. Anything from like saying so many untruth stuff or many things that maybe might incentivize someone to make a very bad choice because a lot of people believe every single thing they watch and they see, and they're in a sensitive situation. That's not a good thing in my opinion. We all have to learn how to think for ourselves. I mean, it's some of the stuff without getting too item specific, let's just say, is from the sublime to the ridiculous. But what troubles me is that there is a recurring theme going on in these videos, that perhaps whatever it is, they can't handle financial situations. And I ask myself, where are or were the people that were supposed to be around you as you were growing up, whoever they may be? Where did they come into play? Did they not teach financial common sense? Did they not teach financial responsibility? And unfortunately, based on what I am watching, I have no choice but to believe that it seems like they didn't get the message. Now, I don't know if the message was given or ignored, or no message was given at all. I'm just coming on here today to say this. Please, by things all good and all wonderful, please, I beg of all of us to be a better example for the ones that are listening to us. Be the better example. Take the high road. I know it's not easy, but we have to think of their future. We have to think of their future. If we, the adults here, are acting irresponsibly, how can we expect so much from those that are looking up to us? Let's think about that, for example. If we are not the better example, what example are we preparing? If we can't handle disappointment, you won't believe how some grown adults act when they can't handle disappointments. You wouldn't believe. I mean, when I'm watching it, and then of course the entitlement situations that are on some of those videos. It's like, without getting into it, I'm like, wow, whatever happened to good old fashioned, you know, good work ethic and being rewarded for your efforts and getting a pat on the back? Perhaps employers are not doing a great job either of patting on the back people that work for you. You taking some of your workers for granted? Only you can answer that. If you're listening to me, I thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm very, very flattered. But if you are an employer and you're taking good, hard workers for granted and never letting them know how much you appreciate them, in my opinion, I don't think that's a good thing. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying. And that's why a lot of morale is like done for. A lot of workers' morale is like done for. And but here's the message, the really big message, the biggest message. We need to make a return to frugal and common sense choices. A lot of people are, in fact, well, getting laid off. I hate to say it. They are. I mean, I hear all these stories on the news, and then, of course, these reaction videos. It makes me very sad. It just really makes me sad. I mean, on the one hand, you hear all these stories, everything's so great, awesome, perfect, beautiful, beautiful. And then I'm hearing this from the people. Which one is it? I'm going to think it's somewhere probably in the middle. But there is a trend where people are unfortunately dealing with the repercussions of some massive layoffs. That's a fact. That is a fact. As a person who has been laid off many years ago, it is not a fun feeling. You question your validity as a worker, even though I was a great worker. I gave extra time to the place. I was devoted, always there, punctual, went in even when I had high fevers and ill. Went in during the blizzard when nobody else was there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They rewarded me by giving me 2 days off. At least that place recognized me and rewarded me for that effort. Yep, 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 yep. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So what about the common sense choices? If you know things are going pretty shaky at the moment, or even think of it, wouldn't it make sense to make some common sense choices? Put some money away. In my honest, this is not the time for the extravagant thing. This is the time for gathering things and for saving things, because one does not know. I'm not saying never get yourself something. Somebody really wise and really smart said that what they do is they provide themselves about, I don't know if it was 3% or 5%. I think it was a 3% award for themselves, reward, excuse me, not award, reward for themselves every single paycheck. 3% totally for them. Great. That makes a ton of sense. It's kind of like what I always call mad crazy money, and I've done videos about that, and probably due to make another video about reminding about holding on to some mad crazy money for oneself. Okay. We get up in the morning. How many times, tell the truth, how many times would you rather have been in bed a little longer on that cold, frosty day, instead of dragging yourself to either a subway, a bus, or a cold car that you have to wait for it to warm up? You see where I'm going with this? Or trudging over to the coffee maker saying, I am not going to spend $5 or $6 on a cup of coffee, even though I might prefer it, even though I love the feeling of somebody serving me, which I believe is half the reason why people go to those places. They like the feeling of being taken care of. I think there is some psychological association with that, but I'm no therapist. I'm just Jan, blabbing behind the microphone, just spewing my feelings and my thoughts here. But don't you agree that it is absolutely time that we absolutely have to make a return to frugal and common sense choices? I mean, this is not, what did they call it? This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it based on the stuff I am watching on these channels, these reaction channels. Now, I don't know if some people make videos on those other platforms for clicks and kicks. If a person is doing that and they really are not in those predicaments and trying to get, clicks, wow, that's like, wow, that's, let's just say that that's not very cool, in my honest. But I tend to think that a lot of the people that are on there are saying it based on the way they look on their face and, look, we have to grab ourselves by our bootstraps and do the very best we can do. And don't say, oh, I only saved $20 this week. That is a kudos. Every time you are ahead, I don't care if it's 20, I don't care if it's 10. If your head is above the water and you met your bills and you have a few bucks to spare to put away every week, as far as I'm concerned, winner, chicken dinner. The problem is, and I mentioned this a week ago, last Sunday's video, is that we are numb and we are bombarded by these big numbers, billions, gazillions, trillions. We keep hearing about them here, there, and everywhere. And what does it do to the regular person? It makes our numbers seem trivial, okay? Like they do not matter. Who cares about that? Somebody said on one of those reaction videos, that they saw, get a load of this. Are you sitting or standing? A bag of chips for $6 or $7. Wow, $6 or $7. I'll go buy myself a 5 pound bag of potatoes, the real thing. I could take one potato, cut them up very, very thinly, and make my own darn chips anytime I want. Healthier and natural. $7 for a bag of chips. Are you kidding me? I could feed 3 or 4 people on $7, even in 2025. This is what I mean by frugal and common sense choices. If your budget is tight, don't get me wrong. I know I like chips too. I mean, come on, I'd be a liar. I like to eat not a whole bag, a few chips once in a great while. I don't eat them often. I really don't, because I don't think they're the healthiest. Okay, a healthier option is to take a real potato, like I just said. And I personally love sweet potatoes. So I love sweet potato fries. So I bump it up to the next level. Now, you could buy those sweet potato fries already done up and frozen. And you could just throw a handful of those anytime you want in the air fryer. Fun snack. Drizzle a little honey on that. I'm in heaven. I don't even need the honey on that. I am just so good with it just as is. But that's me. Everybody is different. Everybody's decisions are different. But we need to make a return to frugal and common sense choices. If you don't have the money for something, you don't have the money for something. I watch a lot of those shows that help, where a woman helps with people figure out organize their finances and stuff. And one of the biggest things people say is, like the lady will say, you are spending 1,500. I'll just use this as an example. You are spending $1,500 a month more than you make. And people looking at each other, the husband and wife, usually they're a couple, and they're looking at each other going, huh? How could we actually do that? Duh, your credit cards. Your credit cards. Just like somebody was talking about how they noticed an arena filled up, like from here, there, and everywhere, because some famous rock star, maybe two of them, I think at the same time, were appearing not long ago in a Floridian concert. And that person said that the place was backed up for miles. The traffic was very, very heavy to get there. And he was trying to boast of how great the economy is right at this moment, because he's looking at people stuck in traffic going to a concert. That don't fool me. That don't fool me. They must be doing very, very well, because they're all lined up in traffic to go to this expensive concert. But, sir, you're failing to ask yourself how many people are paying for it out of their pocket, for real and for true, and how many other people, all they did was charge it. Not for real and for true, and they're going to get a big fat bill, and in all probability can't pay for it. Oh, you can't look, you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge a book by its cover. Oh, that arena, that stadium is packed with concert goers, and that means the economy is booming. No, it does not. It's like those people you see with the fancy, fancy extras and living a lie. People like that live to keep up with the Joneses and their whole life is fake rich on their credit cards. I love that term, by the way. I didn't make it up. I heard it somewhere else. Fake rich. It is fake rich. You're not rich, living off credit cards. So for anybody that says, but where did that money come from? I only make $3,000 a month, and still they're paying out 4,500. Yeah, I'm plastic and falling behind. This is not good. You don't want that. We need to make a return to common sense choices. My heart goes out to people that are presented with predatory loans, okay? I ask myself, isn't there an adult in these people's life that could sit down and stop them from agreeing to this? This is not the greatest idea, or did they also fall for that trap? Things are going to be absolutely perfect after this education and after this expensive loan. And you're guaranteed because you're going to get a job in your chosen field that you're getting extreme education for. I wish it was always that way. I wish it were, but it's not. Okay, it is not. The reality is, you might be stuck with a lot of big bills in your young adult life. Nobody turns around and says a word to them. My word. This is where I get frustrated. Sit down and talk and communicate and say, I don't know if this is the greatest idea because this, that, and this will probably happen. Whatever. Anyway, that's another show. I do believe in trade schools, however, in your specified field. I do. I don't want to talk about that other topic too much because it is a sensitive subject and a touchy subject, but I do think we need to make a return to frugal and common sense choices. Yeah, unfortunately, those predatory loan people are out there. Yes, they are. Young couples that rent a TV, rent furniture. How is that good? That's not good. See, a lot of people get caught up and hung up with the short term fix. And it sounds so inviting. Oh, okay, I could get great furniture if I rent it. And what about all the interest down the pike? And yeah, believe it or not, when you take out a loan, whether it's renting furniture and those disgusting, I don't even know how they could stay in business. Are they still in business? Payday loans? People have resigned themselves to a payday loan. That is like, I mean, you really listen. But here's the good news, it's not all about gloom and doom. We can fix this. You can break free from it. Make a return to frugal and common sense choices. Instead of eating steak at an expensive restaurant, go home, go to the grocery store and buy yourself a steak. Cut it up in smaller pieces. Do 25 different things with it. Do a stir fry. Do a stew. You could take some tough stew meat and you could let it sit in your crock pot for hours and let it braise and break down. And you think you're eating something even better than a filet mignon. I'm not even kidding you. Let's make a return to common sense choices. Was grandma wrong? As it turns out, grandma and grandpa, they were not wrong. They lived simply. I don't know what it is. We seem to have to always bump up in this society, bump up things to the highest level of everything. Not just a regular potato. The potato has to have 400 different flavors to it. And you have to use 5,000 seasonings. I know evidence of this when I watch some videos where it's so complicated, the recipe, for a simplistic and what should be a basic recipe. I don't get it. Again, how do we return to frugal and common sense choices? We simplify our lives. Okay, we do not keep up with the Joneses. In fact, we don't care about what the Joneses do. We bless them, we pray for them, we're happy for them. Good for you, and we pray from the bottom of our hearts, that they are not just putting on a facade, a show. You want to keep up with the Joneses, but you don't know where the Joneses are getting all their funding from. Now, do you? Besides, isn't it a ton of work having to worry about keeping up with anything? Keep up with your car. Keep by buying it outright. Buy a clunker. I mean, buy a beater rather. Buy a functionally safe and good car. Doesn't have to be fancy. No car payments, please. No, 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 no. You don't want that headache. No, you don't want that headache. I think people invite themselves a lot of problems. You want to live in clean and decent housing? Yes, you're not going to live in a mansion if you can't afford a mansion. Common sense, okay? Gee, it's nice to eat dinner, but it may not be the $50 a plate dinner. It'll be the $50 spent at the grocery store for the week kind of a dinner. And you're going to be thankful and you're going to be grateful. And this is the way I operate. Every time I have a habit. I have a habit. Every time I eat a meal, I would say about 90%. I try to remember every time. I try to be, I'm always grateful. That's a blanket statement. But sometimes I want to get item specific. Dear Lord, thank you for XYZ meal. I so appreciate this hot meal on this chilly night. I so appreciate this nice, cool, crispy salad on a 95-degree humid day. It's not fancy, but it's mine, and I thank you for it. Yeah, why don't we make a return to that? Why don't we make a return to being grateful for the little stuff? Ignore those big numbers you're always hearing about. Those numbers are troublesome. It really is discouraging to a lot of people. So, as we try to make a return to frugal and common sense choices, we need to step back, dial it back, and focus on the stuff that we have and stop focusing on the, but I want this, that, and the other. No, no, no. And before I go, I'll just take another minute here. I couldn't believe people reacting or overly reacting to possibly being, quote, end the quote, deprived of certain things that maybe they shouldn't be having anyway. Overly reacting, overly. Take a breath. You got a roof, you got food for your tummy. You can't always get the things you want in life. If we could get this through our system and be grateful, you paid off your debt. By the way, I have to say personally, congratulations to everyone last week that told me they have paid off their DEBT. Kudos, man. Congratulations. I could not be proud of you. And yes, you really and truly made my day. You really, really did. What a wonderful way to start out the week. Telling me that you are debt free. Wow. Does it get better than that? And I believe the reason why those folks are debt free is because they made up their mind. They made up their mind to make a return to frugal and common sense choices.